This is going to make me lose my mind. I'm letting you know.
Occasionally cashing in.
Are you a capitalist?
No, I'm a democratic socialist.
The Democratic Socialist curmudgeon is charging Bernie fanatics up to $100 a pop to hear him take down capitalism. Tickets do come with a copy of his new book. It's okay to be angry.
That's awesome. No, dude, guys. Everybody knows it literally is illegal to be a socialist and make money. Like, everyone knows that. Socialism means living in poverty. Socialism actually is not about genuinely a man being entitled to the sweat of his brow, which so many fucking gamers unironically think is about libertarianism, when it's literally a joke. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow is a Marxist statement that BioShock satirically attributed to a libertarian. Do you not understand that concept? People still yell at me about that because once I said, is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow, is literally a socialist statement. It is perhaps the best way that you can distill socialism down to like one sentiment. A man is entitled to the sweat of his brow is about the extraction of surplus labor value. Okay? Just because you cannot comprehend, just because you cannot fucking comprehend that concept does not change that reality. Okay? I will take every opportunity to say BioShock sucks. I don't think BioShock sucks. I think that was pretty good critique on fucking Ayn Rand and libertarians and all this shit. Dumbass literature that make fun of you.
The grossly affluent is a moral obscenity, and our economic system inevitably leads to oppressive and exploitative power hierarchies. Redistribution is the only ethical option. But now that I think about it a little more clearly, is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow?
No, a man is still entitled to the sweat of his brow from the start to the bottom. From start to bottom, top to finish. Okay? Start to finish, top to bottom. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Hassan and Elizabeth don't want you to see this meme. Yeah, we saw the meme. God, I remember a time when this fucking loser, before he became the biggest dick rider, was one of my first ever mods. I'm glad that the grift paid off for him. Did it? I don't think so, but, you know, we've seen this before. I watched this before on this broadcast. There you go. I gave you a little gift. You can make like 11 hours of commentary on it. Anyway, the animator's a cunt as well. Yeah, I know. It's fucking so stupid. What have I always told you? If the entire audience that you are trying to channel is stupid, okay? If the entire audience that you're trying to channel is fucking stupid, then you can get away with saying stupid shit. You can't get away at the top of the hour, however, without seeing the ads unless you're subscribed. Because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. You no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. Which you can do for $5 or for free with Twitch Prime. Or by getting gifted a sub if you're lucky. Okay? Just how it works. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Thank you, Echoplex, for the 5 get the subs, allowing A man chooses, a slave obeys. Another BioShock quote. Bolshy Bob, thank you for the 5 get the subs as well. MXM Gray, thank you for the 5 get the subs as well. All right. Anyway, the point is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow is something that I have used to describe socialist, or rather Marxist perspectives, because it is Marxist. The entire concept of socialism revolves around workers getting more of or at least having more of a say, if not directly more of the profits that they are generating. Without labor, there is no value. Okay? There is no value without labor. And the main problem under capitalism is that your bosses, who are not generating any sort of value whatsoever, okay, are the ones who dictate how much of your surplus labor value is extracted and what to do with your surplus labor value. That's it. That's the point. So when I say, is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow, I'm talking about workers. Workers are entitled to a larger percentage of the value that they present, that the value that they create. That's it. That's at the heart of every fucking labor dispute. That's at the heart of every union and what they seek to do. You're technically wrong. Workers being entitled to their surplus labor or the sweat of their brow is a Ricardian socialist shit that Marx considered heretical. Marx wanted to abolish value form entirely. But since we're vulgarizing Marxism so that dipshits and troglodytes can understand it, it's fine. Marx would have you thrown out of a window for repeating this shit in his name. How does the value form, how does value abolish in its entirety? What are the transitional steps to reach that? Marx also thought that the inherent contradictions would inevitably cause capitalism to implode. And that hasn't happened either. So I don't want to talk too much about a dude who did not see that the welfare state could add, permanent lifelines to a capitalist organization of the economy as things get worse and worse. Not only that, but also on top of that, fascism has been a pretty adequate mechanism of control. Especially as the labor force has been eviscerated and there is no mechanism of pushback. No, I don't say fuck Marx, dude. What are you guys talking about? Don't be stupid. Revisionism and bourgeois sentimentalism. I mean, I am revisionist. Yes, this is true. It is not wrong. I am. So you're not. No one cares enough to see that as a diss. I hope you understand that.
Angry about capitalism, which incidentally costs $28. And as you can imagine, Bernie's colleagues in Congress were quick to call out the irony. Now, Dana, I hear
it's just
you're
gross.
rolling your eyes.
It's gross. I'm verbally rolling my eyes. Yeah, so he's a walking advertisement for why the left is full of crap.
This is so awesome. Literally, this entire conversation is going to be one that everyone in this community, this entire conversation is one that every single member of this community has heard a million times over from every fucking dumbass that repeats pretty much the same exact sentiment. Maybe not identical words, but the same exact sentiments because they are guided by the same exact ideology. Okay? It's that socialism means you are subscribing to a poverty cult, and socialism means that you cannot demand wages, more wages. Socialism is the exact opposite of what socialism is supposed to be.
It's ridiculous. He has made. Do you remember when Hillary was going after him, and they had that ad about millionaires and billionaires, and then they changed it to just billionaires? Why did they do that? Because Bernie became a millionaire, and he could no longer say that. It's just crazy. It's okay. It's okay to earn money on your book. Like, didn't he start off as a writer?
He did.
I mean,
erotic fiction.
It's come a long way.
I hope it was fiction.
It's come a long way. No, him too.
Him too.
Well, the guy's allowed,
yes.
is he not, Greg, to have 3 homes?
It's just so sad to like the audacity of like even implying that Bernie Sanders is a pervert when you were literally Geraldo Rivera, Jesse Waters, who like openly stated that he fucking kidnapped his original wife by like busting her fucking tires. Okay, that's the first interaction that he created for his now wife, and Greg Gutfeld, who is somehow the only figure more disgusting than Jesse Waters and repulsive to women around him. It's like, what the fuck do you mean? What do you mean? Well, how dare you? Yeah, they're gonna go from that to the 3 homes bit. Just wait.
Homes?
Yes.
Yep, 3 homes. Yes, 3 homes. How dare Bernie Sanders have like a fucking log cabin? How dare he? That's unacceptable, dude. That's completely unacceptable. He can't have, literally every fucking senator has to have at least 2 places of residence, okay? 1 in DC and 1 back home. That's just a fact. Like literally every fucking, that's it. Every member of Congress has to have that because they have to go between both, okay? So that's normal. And then the third tiny ass fucking log cabin that was given down to him by his wife's parents. Oh man, that's so fucked up. He inherited a log cabin. Such decadence, dude. Such fucking decadence. Anyway. And if he lived very minimally frugally, what do you mean he does live very minimally and frugally? Bro, what are you talking about? It's not like this motherfucker is caked up. He's driving around a goddamn Subaru. This is a fundraiser. Everything he does for the most part is a fucking fundraiser, okay? The fuck do you mean? And even if it wasn't, could be a nice donation. I want to donate something to your mom, my semen, okay? Shut the fuck up, you crusty. If you are actually a fucking leftist, shut your crusty bitch ass up. Do not ever log on to the internet again. Go fucking protest that the police have not been abolished. Okay? Shut your stupid fucking whore mouth up, you dumb bitch. I'm sick and tired of motherfuckers that agree with the Fox 5. You're watching 5 of the biggest fucking fascist troglodytes. And you literally are you're repeating it. How? We are not removed from the Fox 5 propaganda right now. Like, we are in the process of watching Fox 5 do the propaganda, and you are repeating it in the fucking chat. You are the one showing it to us. Yes, of course, I look at things I disagree with all day. If you are a leftist or consider yourself to be a leftist and you turn around and fucking repeat Fox 5 propaganda, how the fuck do you not understand that you are engaging in right-wing, anti-socialist, anti-Marxist, anti-left, agitative propaganda? Consent has already been manufactured in your mind. And a big part of what fucking Twitter leftists do is this. It is deeply undesirable and it's incredibly fucking frustrating. That's why I hate most motherfuckers that chirp on Twitter and think that it's actually praxis.
Everybody should have 3 homes.
I'm all for it.
Yes, each one for your Hummer. You know, the tickets should be free, or at very least, he should force half his audience to pay for the tickets of the other half.
Yeah.
Or maybe 20% should pay for the remaining 80%. So the prices are like $500 per person, and everyone else is free. So the people that paid the $500 have to be next to like 8 people that didn't pay at all and listen to them. But what's most disgraceful about
Bernie literally doesn't matter. Characters don't matter. Communism isn't a person. Ideology isn't a person. Yes. But when you are considering yourself to be a leftist and you come into a prominent leftist community and then turn around and do the same bag-watching bullshit that like a bunch of fucking fascist ideologues are doing directly on camera, I'm not angry because people are, being mean to Bernie. I don't give a fuck, okay? I'm angry at the idiocy. I'm angry at the stupidity. I'm angry at the fact that a bunch of mouth-breathing idiots think that they are on board with a cause while simultaneously taking down someone who is at the very least a very prominent and very popular figurehead for said cause. More mainstream than anyone else has been in contemporary society. Okay? These are the same motherfuckers that are like, well, Engels would be a fake communist, to be fair. I mean, he owned a factory. You have nothing. You have no power. You have no organizing. You have no will. And you, more importantly than that, have no desire or understanding of the ideas that you claim to care about. All you're doing is engaging in reactionary propaganda, but from a leftist position, okay? An ostensibly leftist position. Actually, normal people see political ideology through leadership. Bernie representing socialism is what led to its growth in our generation. I do agree with that. Denying that is fucking moronic. We cannot allow our leaders to be character assassinated and expect our movement to win basic shit. Exactly. Nobody is perfect and we're all hypocrites. I agree with you. There is nothing hypocritical about what Bernie has done. Okay? No, you do not agree with me. While I do personally agree with the notion that, yes, people are hypocritical ultimately, okay? There is nothing hypocritical about the things that they are talking about, especially because considering any of the things that they're using against Bernie as hypocrisy is undermining leftist attitudes, is undermining what Marxism is about. They know that, and that's why they're using it. But if you have the capacity to understand that, then never in a million fucking years act like that shit is anything but propaganda. Okay? Is that not hypocrisy, though? What? I can't see this. It's a photo album. There is no reason for people who claim to be on the side of the left to ever give even a second of attention or give the argument that, like, you cannot make money as a leftist, okay? Especially if it's your own fucking labor that you are making money off of. Do not lend credence to this argument. This is a right-wing argument. Please. It is so sad. It is so incredibly fucking sad that you still have people in leftist communities that run with the Fox 5's propaganda, man. That's it. These are the most right-wing motherfuckers you can look at. Why do you think you are in agreement with them? There is nothing hypocritical about that. I despise so many leftists that do this shit. Okay? And obviously, it also hits personal too. Obviously, you guys already know that. How many dumb bitches on the fucking internet have made call-out posts to advance their own brand and talk about how they are leftier than thou, how they are the Substack that you should be actually subscribing to? You know? Meanwhile, all of that is self-defeating. It's crabs in a fucking bucket. It is so fucking annoying. I hate it.
This, he's working with Ticketmaster. This is 2023. Ticketmaster? What does that
Is that the one that got in trouble because of Taylor Smith?
Yep. Slave.
Yo, that's literally the fucking, dog, it's a monopoly. What the fuck? That's literally the point. Yes, it's like dumbass chatters who are like, I can't believe, Hasan, you would claim to be a socialist and yet you work with Amazon. Where am I supposed to go? AWS owns nearly the entirety of the market. If I don't work with Twitch, do I go and work with Google? Is Google better? On YouTube? Do I go to fucking Facebook? That is how this shit works. You cannot escape the system. You have to use the tools that the system offers you to advance your agenda. So fucking annoying. Losing it.
Eves, Bernie,
Okay.
I guess you don't care about race anymore, do you?
Okay, here's the thing. You can watch him for free all day on C-SPAN, so why would you bother to pay the $95? And if you think about it, if minimum wage is something like $17, you literally have to work the whole day to pay to watch him give a speech. I mean, none of it makes sense. It's the classic hypocrisy.
The judge brings up minimum wage. You don't think the minimum wage is adequate, do you? The federal minimum wage was $7.25 an hour. Shouldn't it be more than double that?
I don't
Isn't Bernie Sanders right?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't.
The most honest thing Jesse's ever said.
Ask Fox Business about the minimum wage.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't care. Like, he literally doesn't. But I'm really glad. I'm glad that, you know, I hear the exact same sentiment. The exact same sentiment that they are engaging in. The exact same resentment, the exact same anti-leftist agitated propaganda from people who called themselves leftists. It's fucking fire, man. It's great.
This tells me the left is on the march. First, Warren comes after Kamala, and then a day later, Bernie launches a book and goes on tour. When you do that, you're running for president. So he's running for president. We're going to have to send Johnny to the book tour to ask these people questions about paying $100. But it's okay to be angry about capitalism, but what's he going to replace it with? Bernie. What does he want to replace it with? Socialism? We had socialism during the pandemic.
I bring you back.
And Pfizer got rich and insurance companies got rich.
I bring you back to his point about the minimum wage. The fact that the federal government of the United States of America has a $7.25 minimum wage, that is a slave wage. Even $17 an hour is only $35,000 a year.
Well, why doesn't Joe raise it?
So I think that despite the fact that he...
Wait, Joe Geraldo, why doesn't...
That's great. That's a great question, actually. Great question. Why doesn't Joe raise it? I wonder why. Because you monkeys are doing the same shit that he's doing, okay? All you're doing is dancing around the same structure, and you don't want Joe to raise it anyway. You already said, I don't give a shit.
Why doesn't Joe raise it?
He had the House, the Oval, and the Senate.
Oh, they already just had both chambers.
Well, do you think the Republicans...
Who cares what I think? I'm not president.
Republicans for 2 years. He
Another
had all
honest
three.
thing.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do...
God, I fucking hate this so much. Anyway, oh, fuck. I forgot that there was like a crazy thing that I wanted to show you guys. Oh, here, by the way. The United States of America, folks, the resolution to denounce the horrors of socialism just passed, of course it did, with 109 Democratic votes as well, including fucking Ro Khanna, I believe, who voted for it, didn't he? Summer Lee tweet on denouncing the horrors of socialism. Yeah, it's a great take, actually. It's one that I routinely also mention. It's pretty funny when Democrats are like, oh, we reject socialism. Like you're literally lending credence to the argument that socialism is bad when they're gonna fucking call you socialist, you idiot. It's awesome. Yeah, Ro Khanna, congratulations for fucking voting. Denouncing the horrors of socialism, where a socialist ideology necessitates a concentration of power. Bro, I do love... By the way. You know what's really funny? You know what's always really fucking funny? Whenever they want to talk about criticisms of socialism, it sounds like they're talking about capitalism. Socialist ideology necessitates a concentration of power that has time and time again collapsed into communist regimes, totalitarian rule, and brutal dictatorships. Sorry, what? A concentration of power that has time and time again collapsed into totalitarian rule and brutal dictatorships. Huh. That sounds a lot like capitalism. Socialism has repeatedly led to famine and mass murders, killing over 100 million people worldwide. The American government just voted for this. Saying, like Democrats in the House of Representatives said yes to this. Capitalism, which is the global power structure that we exist under, leads to 14 million deaths a year by famine alone. That is before we get to the wars and all of the other ways in which people die under capitalism. Remember, though, folks, there's a double standard. When famine occurs under communism, or when deaths happen under communism, that's because of the system. When 14 million people die a year due to famine, when we have a surplus of food, and the only problem is that we can't handle the logistics, and yet still 14 million people die every year due to famine and famine-related diseases, that's not the fault of capitalism. Don't ever say that. That's the fault of the individual. That's the fault of the individual. Come on now. Of course. That's personal responsibility. I'm sorry, you didn't work hard enough, children in Yemen. Work hard and don't be born in Yemen next time. That's right. Whereas many of the great crimes of history were committed by socialist ideologues, including Vladimir Lenin, who was dope, fuck you, Joseph Stalin, okay, Mao Zedong, Fidel Castro, Pol Pot, Kim Jong-il. It's interesting because, like, they add Pol Pot to this, which is always funny. Because, like, we were Pol Pot's allies, so that's odd. At least they didn't fucking add Ho Chi Minh to this, which I respect. Surprising. Why? How did Uncle Ho get away with not being added to this list? They put Pol Pot, but not Ho? That's weird. Whereas tens of millions of people died in the Bolshevik Revolution, at least 10 million people were sent to the gulags in the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and millions more starved in the terror famine, Holodomor, in Ukraine. Whereas between 15 million and 55 million people starved to death in the wake of famine and devastation caused by the Great Leap Forward in China. Whereas the socialist experiment in Cambodia led to the killing fields in which over 1 million people were gruesomely murdered. You know, again, ask Henry Kissinger about that. That's interesting. Okay. Whereas up to 3.5 million people have started in North Korea, dividing a land of freedom and a land of destitution. Who did genocide in North Korea? I wonder why people are starving in North Korea. It perhaps has nothing to do with the authoritarian regime that they exist under, which is true. Their regime is authoritarian. Let's be fucking real. I'm not going to sit here and you know, advocate for the Democratic people of Korea, Democratic People's Republic of Korea. But, like, you know, they're doing better, all things considered. Okay, I am not a Jusha supporter or defender. I don't think Jusha is Marxist-Leninist in general. But real interesting. Why are they starving? That's so weird. It's almost like they've been systematically forced out of participating with the global marketplace in any capacity whatsoever, and their only fucking major ally before China was defeated in the Cold War, and therefore, again, they had no help. They were doing all right. We're doing all right originally. Anyway. Whereas the Castro regime in Cuba expropriated the land in Cuban farmers and businesses of Cuban entrepreneurs, businesses like sugar plantations that had slaves that we in the United States were taking advantage of. That's the greatest dishonor, is that, you know, sugar plantations that had slaves in them were, you know, taken over by the government. Yeah, expropriation. So fucked up. Stealing their possessions and their livelihoods and exiling millions with nothing but the clothes on their backs. Whereas the implementation of socialism in Venezuela has turned the once prosperous nation to a failed state with the world's highest rate of inflation. Again, you know, currency mismanagement aside, because obviously third world countries can't operate with quantitative easing in the same way that America can, because American dollar is whatever America still has the imperial forces backing it's backing and instilling confidence in people whatever they decide to do. So surprising that, you know, no one else is allowed to do that except for the United States of America. But again, Venezuela, North Korea, Cuba. What is one through line in all of these nations? It's like, if they are such failures, then why do you always have to hit the fucking embargo button? Why do you always have to hit the sanction button so hard? If they're failing on their own as a consequence of their faulty ideology, why must you always tilt the scales in your favor? It's so weird. It's so strange to me. I never will understand it. I'm always thinking, if socialism is so bad and these nations are truly horrifyingly socialist, then why the fuck do you feel the need to intervene and make it worse? Anyway. Whereas the father of the Constitution, President James Madison, wrote that it is not just government, nor is property to secure under it, where the property which a man has his personal safety and personal liberty is violated by arbitrary seizures of one class of citizens for the service of the rest. Wait, but that happens right now. That's literally also, you know, that happened back then too. It's just that property in that regard was considered like, you know, human beings, like slaves, you know, that. Okay, anyway, whereas the United States of America was founded on the belief of the sanctity of the individual, to which collectivistic system of socialism in all of its forms is fundamentally and necessarily opposed, now therefore be it that the Congress denounces socialism in all of its forms and opposes the implementation of socialist policies in the United States of America. We are never getting health care. Okay? We are never getting health care. Not happening. Sorry. That's it. 109 Democrats voted for this. 109 Democrats in the House of Representatives voted yes on this. I don't know what else to say, man. Yeah, I mean, this is what Forced to Vote wanted to see, by the way. There you go. So, to all the Forced to Voters, there it is. They've openly shown that they do not care. They have openly shown that they, like, at a time when there is a Democratic president and a slim, just a slim majority in the House of Representatives for the Republican Party and a majority for the Democrats in the Senate. Kind of puts Forced to Vote into perspective. What do you mean? We already knew this. How is this new for you? What perspective did you learn? What new thing did you learn from this? Here's the reality. This will never change unless you force them to. Okay? Unless you force them to. Why the fuck would they? Right now, Capital runs it. How do you force them to? By organizing. By creating a mechanism of pushback first inside of your workforces where adults spend 80% of their lives in, and then building a network, a coalition of labor unions that can then strike at the heart of capital. Because without labor, without unions, there is no value, there is no capital to accumulate. That is the only way to do it. This is just symbolic, by the way. But even if it's symbolic, like, why the fuck do you vote yes for it? You know what I mean? That's the point. You fucking idiots. This is just a symbolic bill, okay? And to turn around and vote yes for this is so stupid. You're literally, they call you socialists every day. You are simply turning around and handing it to the Republicans. Yeah, it does show that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are two sides of the same coin. Certainly. All right, get to some good. Let's get to some good fucking shit here. Strikes. I don't want to think about America anymore. America is a fail